What's up, you guys? I'm going to do a little video today. I know I haven't done one in a while, but I'm going to be showing you how to compression test your car. And so let's go over first a couple things that you'll need and why you want to compression test your car. So you'll need to pick up one of these compression gauges. I got this one from AutoZone. It has a little purge valve right there, and it doesn't have the port to do a wet compression test, but today we're just going to be doing a normal compression test. And then so you'll need a 5/16 driver to get the little screws off of the spark plug boots. You'll need a spark plug socket. I use an extension that's like an 8-inch extension, and then a ratchet. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go ahead and pull the spark plug. Well, before you do that, what you want to do is you want to go over to your fuse box, and there's a number 25 fuse right there. That's your fuel pump. You're going to want to pull that fuse and then turn the car on so it dies on its own from fuel starvation, because you don't want to flood the cylinders with fuel, because when you're cranking it over 6 or 7 times, you're going to be injecting fuel when you're building pressure to get that reading. So you're going to want to pull that fuse and then go ahead and turn the car on. And I've already got mine on jack stands. You can do it when it's down on the ground or when it's up in the air, but just let it die on its own, and then we move on to step 2. Step 2. On the bottom of this compression gauge, and I've already done it because I don't have 3 hands, but basically you screw this down into, it's threaded, so you're going to screw it down into the cylinder that you want to do. This is number 2. I've already done number 1. And you screw it in until it's snug. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you just hand tighten it. Then you purge it. Well, it's already purged, but you'll press this button here to make sure it's zeroed out. And then what you're going to want to do is get in the car, and you're going to want to crank it the same amount of times that you did when you did any of the other cylinders. So for me, I do 7. So we'll get in, and we'll do 7 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you get out and you go check the gauge, and it should be building pressure, hopefully. If not, you have a problem. So it looks like this one is pretty close to the other cylinder that I just did, cylinder 1. Looks like it's at 170 psi. So the other one was 168. Then you press this to purge it, and then you just unscrew it, and then you move to the next cylinder. And what I do is I keep a little notepad and I write it down, because I did this about a year ago before I did a big turbo swap. So I'll be able to look online at the picture I took and compare the numbers to what I had before. And I have about 1,000 miles on this big turbo setup. So we're going to go ahead and do that a couple more times, and we're going to see what the compression is across the whole engine. I'm hoping that's all within 5% of each other. I believe number 3 cylinder is the one that has problems on this motor. I'll have to double check, but I'm just doing this to make sure the motor is healthy and holding compression after 1,000 miles of big turbo on it, and just to check up on it. Every time you pull the plugs, it doesn't hurt to do this. So let's go ahead and see what the other cylinders have. We just finished doing the 4th cylinder, and it looks like that's right at 170, so that's really good. We're going to go ahead and mark that on the pad over here. So it looks like all the cylinders were within 1 or 2% pressure of each other, which is really good. I was a little bit worried that I was going to lose some numbers today, because I am making a lot more power now. I think it got dynoed at, well, actually dyno's right here, but yeah, so it made 385 horsepower, and like this is before I was done tuning as well, so, and it's like 365 torque. And then before I was making 297 horsepower and 360 torque. So it's good to just check and make sure, you know, that you're not losing compression real quick. Every couple months, just check it if you're running a lot of boost, and it's a way to keep track of your motor's health. So that's done. We're going to go ahead and put new spark plugs in, and change the oil, and a couple other things. I'm going to wrap this intercooler piping with some that gold reflective tape, because it is getting pretty hot. My boost air temperatures are pretty high, even though I have a front mount intercooler. And some other things that I'm doing is I am going to completely strip out the car and eventually get a roll cage and some racing seats, but I've already got the rear out. I took like 300 pounds of crap out of here. Here's the rear fuel pump right here, the in-tank pump. We're going to be upgrading that with I think it's a Deutschwerks pump, so we're going to upgrade that. And then you guessed it, we're going to be adding 5th and 6th port. I think Cosmic Motorsports has a kit, and it's got a little plate that goes right there in the throttle body, and it adds 2 ports of injection. The limiting factor right now after doing this setup is the fuel. So my injector duty cycle is at 90%, so I'm on 23 pounds of boost, and we can't go any further. The turbo, the B&R S4 is capable of more power. The block is able to hold a little bit more power, but you know, I'm just out of fuel. So by adding that fuel injectors, the 5th and 6th port, I'll be able to run cooler bats just because the nature of misting the fuel at the throttle body, and I'll be able to run more boost. I think the B&R mid-range hits like 27 or 28, and then on the top end it's capable of holding 26 pounds. So I'm hoping to make about 420 horsepower and like 360 torque just to keep it safe, because this is the stock block. Everything's going good on the car other than that. 60,000 miles, no problems so far. The only thing that I would advise of, and I just saw this, is when I was tightening the T-bolt clamps on the intercooler piping, I kind of collapsed that one just a little bit, so I'm going to have to put something in there to expand it back out, but I'm sure that's affecting it a little bit. That's kind of stupid of me, but you know, this is my first time doing this stuff. So, but yeah, if you have any questions about doing a compression test on the Speed, let me know. Make sure your battery is fully charged. I do have a 51R in there because it's a smaller battery, so I can fit all this stuff in there. And I was worried that it was going to die because you have to crank each cylinder over quite a bit. But anyway, that's the update. We got some other little things we're going to be doing. Drilled and slotted rotors, ceramic pads. You know, we're going to do brakes, full brakes. I did get some new wheels, so I have the Hoosiers on here that did really well at the track. But I also have some street Yokohama tires over here, so I ordered 2 more of those rims. They're just cheap drag wheels, so I can swap in the garage between, you know, racing tires and street tires. So if I actually want to drive this thing around, I don't have to, you know, 1, waste the Hoosiers, and 2, worry about water or rain or anything like that. But anyway, thanks for watching.